Hello, lovelies. This is the recap of Emotional Think Tank Season 2, Episode 7. We did ourselves a little bit of a World Peace Summit. Let me just move this out of the way so I can double check the video. Here's my face. Here's the volume. So, in attendance were Antaro McManus, or Om Taro as he's going by, and Andy Krause. And the audio is available, but for whatever reason the video didn't want to capture, so now we're doing this. Just to give kind of a general idea with the Emotional Think Tanks, we work on kind of a problem solution mentality. So with the world peace one that we chose to, we wanted to address the issues of conflict and the things that are currently getting in the way of world peace, as well as kind of idealizing or painting a picture of what would be inherent in a world that is peaceful, that has the peace that beauty queens and whatnot talk about. So along with that, I did capture a photo, and like I said, I've got the audio. And I'll probably post that in conjunction with this so that y'all can get kind of the overall experience. So some of the challenges to world peace are lies, unawareness, lack, fear, self-destruction, scarcity, chaos, drama, illusions, projections, indebtedness, destructiveness, distractions, anger, frustration, expectation, energy harvesting, division, separation, fear of change, addiction, dependency, that can be drugs, alcohol, patterns, whatever, mystification, scotomas, control, enslavement, war, hate, suffering, confinement, restraint in a forcible diminishing capacity, apathy, avoidance, politics, vagueness, cruelty, abuse, stories, stagnation, and what Andy calls narrative. And it's kind of a broad sweeping application, but it gives you kind of an idea of the way things are going. Now, the challenges are pretty obvious because that's what society on large, mass media, social networks, even politicking around the water cooler tends to focus on are the problems, the issues, the obstacles, the challenges, the hurdles. These are well and good to bring into awareness, but when we dwell on them, we get into a space where they seem insurmountable. And that's a big part of where the demystification comes in, because when things seem insurmountable, when we talk about them, for instance, government, external government, it seems like a very large and overshadowing entity, and how could we possibly have any alternative to that? And it just seems so overwhelming. Well, the truth of the matter is that government, religion, all these other different organizations are people, and they're actually, most of the times, they're smaller groups of people than the larger society. So we don't need anybody's permission to make the changes in the world that we see fit. We get to be accountable for ourselves and take committed steps on a daily basis for ourselves first and foremost, and then that awareness, that resonance frequency, if you will, resonates out into our surrounding environment naturally. And if it's harmonic, meaning that it's in alignment with the energy of the location, then we'll have harmonic results. If it's disharmonic, we'll have disharmonic results or destructive results. And this is characterized by the equation E times A equals C. So you've got energy times action equals creation. And that's a basic law of the universe stuff. The physical universe at any rate. And the energetic one, because your energy can be your emotions, it can be your thoughts, it can be your general demeanor, it can be your outlook on life, it can be whatever. And whatever actions you take from that energy are naturally going to affect your creation or your impact on the world around you. Also, it's going to affect your perception. Your ability to perceive the world around you is going to go through the filters of your stories, of your connections, of what you determine to be truth. So, so that's a good foundation of what comes up in our quest for world peace. So some of the things that we envisioned on the World Peace is Achieved Array team, because World Peace is a team sport, are creative potential, inner peace, joy, courage, community, abundance, decluttering, love, purpose, choices, spirit, knowledge, wisdom, communication, healthy boundaries, health, honor, internal value systems versus external value systems. That's one of the things that I bring up when I'm talking about abundance economies. And also what I see as a practical tool for world peace, because when people develop a healthy internal value system, then external value like money and property and food, in the hoarding sense of those words, are less important, because the chasm that would exist within the self to fuel that hoarding, to fuel that desire for collection and fulfillment, is actually flowing, is springing forth from within. So let's see. So empowerment, trust, inspiration, trust, inspire, empower are my resonating frequencies that I operate at. So love, but specifically trust, inspiration, and empowerment. Those come up every session that I ever do. Being heart-centered and aware, finding the good within, singing, dancing, allowing flow, healthy vulnerability, as opposed to letting in things that will hurt you, that will cause you pain or destruction, that just really aren't for your highest and greatest good. Requesting assistance is part of that healthy vulnerability. Divinity, gratitude, prayer, connection, counsel, expansive thinking, feeling, talking, acting, doing, clarity, relaxing, teachability, being teachable, learning, empathy, compassion for self. That was a key one that was brought up. There's a lot of emphasis on being compassionate for others and understanding or sympathizing or even empathizing with their particular circumstances. If you don't have that compassion within, there's no way you're going to be able to connect to the people around you. So it's a pretty good little thing we tuned into. Accountability, Om, sound of the universe, good stuff. Humor, play, laughter, being childlike. Even, technology often gets kind of a bad rap. People are saying that it's disconnective and that there's not any truth in it. It gives the illusion, yada yada. But this, like anything else, technology, the way we're communicating right now, is an E times A equals C opportunity. So the energy that I'm putting into this is love and connection and nourishment and joy and passion and courage and all these other things. And the action is recording a video. Pretty simple. In this recording, though, I'm going to distribute this out and get feedback on it. I do these emotional think tanks every Thursday of the week at 7 p.m. Over at Sacred City. Beautiful space. I love it. But it's that choice to observe myself in abundance that allows me to flow this energy, flow this information outward, and know that I'm being fulfilled simply by doing it. And then also giving from my abundance and then receiving more abundance from there. So again, it's an alternative to the scarcity consciousness economies where you have one and I have none. So the only way for me to have one is to have yours. That's simply not true. It's not, excuse me, it's not observable in nature. It's not a building reproducible system. So it's not the divine resonance of truth. And I kind of like divine resonance. So that works for me. So those, as you can tell from the first list and the second list, the vibrational energies are completely different. The first list is heavy and distracting and fearful and challenging and painful and so on. The second list, it wells forth the essence of truth and courage and honor and joy within the self, and the connection to source or God or divinity or oneness or whatever you like to flavor it. The bottom line is that this essence of truth, the reason why it resonates within multiple individuals, is because it's part of underlying truth. And I'm a universalist. I feel everybody got a piece of the puzzle, and we all kind of have different puzzles that we're building. So my personal journey is about observing all these other puzzle pieces and seeing where they fit for me, and what kind of bigger picture forms from that. So having a paradigm, an awareness of an alternative to war and famine and disease and mistrust and these other things, that's a crucial first step. But just dreaming about it, just observing it, doesn't bring it into 3D, doesn't bring it into physical reality. So we deserve to have action items. So we came up with some. And now granted, none of these lists are wholly complete because as World Peace is a team sport, we had 3 members of the team assembled. And, Avengers is pretty popular. Use that as your allegory. When the whole team's together, they do amazing, awesome stuff. Space aliens, the whole deal. When they're individualized or when they're competing against each other, then the results are different. They're destructive. They're distracting. People die, and that's the nature of it. So when we truly get into the essence of teamwork, then the list gets bigger, the work gets easier, many hands make light work, so on and so forth. It's pretty expansive. So some of the action items are cleaning the environment. Now this is the personal environment, but also the external environment. And this can apply to conservancy and ecological alternatives. Crickets over beef cattle. Whatever. Also, it can apply to like physical clutter in a space, or emotional or spiritual clutter, or a bunch of different things. So a clean environment, and taking steps to clean your environment are action items we can do. And these are daily choices that we make every day. Play music. The flow of music flows forth emotions and connections. It's one of the universal languages we have. Other universal languages that are translatable through any culture and any religion and any human or even through to animals and plants and whatnot are music and math. That's simply an observation, but math is pretty useful. Also love. So those are translatable. And these are just really the mediums in which the universal language flows. That just got really expansive. But when we're talking about world peace, stuff gets expansive and possibilities show up. So let's see. Receiving and flowing. That's crucial because people get to be in a send, receive, abundance mentality when they're ready for it. You don't have to be there all the time, but being in the space where you can actually take in that information and say, okay, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to outflow and share what I know. Emotional think tanks. Now, emotional think tanks is one of the Being Humans tools. Other tools include the books. One of the books is in pre-release form right now. It will be published on Kindle probably later this week. The beautiful and talented illustrator Tina Allen is actually is putting the finishing touches on some of the artwork that is to be unique to the book. Not just stuff I could pick up in clip art or that kind of stuff. It got to be very unique and resonating with the essence of the book. So thank you, Tina, for that. Also, following intentions, being teachable and teaching. Being, one of my favorite quotes from Jesus is be, therefore perfect. And the crucial punctuation in that is the comma right after be and the period at the end. So what I get from that is that Jesus is encouraging us to be exactly who we are, resonate the essence of our being, and realize that simply in being, not in doing, not in grand works or anything other than simply being, we are expressing perfection. We are perfection. He doesn't say, hey, go out and be perfect, because you're kind of sucking at it right now. He compassionately says, be, comma, therefore perfect. So that's where the being for Being Humans comes from. I'm sure I've covered that in other ones, but if this is the only one you're watching, then there's a tidbit for you. Trusting, listening to guides, and those can be internal, external, physical, non-physical guides, whatever shows up for you. Eating healthy, resting, drinking plenty of water. That's one thing that I coach a lot of people on. People don't drink near enough water, or good water for that matter. I personally love Water Wellness Center. They've got alkalized water, distilled water. It's oxygenated. It's got 72 trace minerals. They got Himalayan salt for it. It's good water, really good water. It nourishes my body. It clears out the toxins. It energizes me. I absolutely love them. They're over here in Salt Lake. They're off of 39th and 3900 South and 9th East. And they put love frequency into it. They've Masa Emoto. You can see, which direction is it? Here behind me. That's the sacred geometry symbol. So they get the sacred geometry stuff, and how you're programming intention into water. And if you're putting loving intention into it, then you'll get loving results out of it. So I tend to refer to tap water as recycled toilet water because I can literally taste and feel the difference. So I appreciate the work that Water Wellness Center does. And feel free to drop in there. They've got classes, as well as they're just really, really loving and really giving of the information. And they have really good water and nutritional supplements and things like that. Let's see. Harmonizing heart and mind. I've got lots of tools for that. And actually everybody in attendance on last Thursday has a lot of good harmonizing heart and mind tools. Both Andy and Omtaro have very very good tools for that. Spending time in nature. That's another thing that I've really been coaching people on recently. A lot of people are getting into overwhelm and anxiety or depression, or just getting burnt out. There's been a lot of adrenal fatigue and other stuff come into people's space, and I personally had that going on earlier this year. I was having issues with my back, and like I was just in such a state of overwhelm. Luckily, I met with some of my really good friends, and they assisted me in healing my physical body, but also taking time for my spiritual and emotional bodies, and really reconnecting to myself. So that's really good, because I rely on my physical body a lot, and it's pretty durable. It's pretty amazing. It lifts heavy stuff. It walks long distances. It processes energy and does all these other beautiful things for me. So it's awesome to have reminders and people in my space to remind me to care for that physical body, as well as the emotional and the mental and the spiritual. All of these overlapping bodies get to be cared for in their own unique ways. Taking time for sanctuary. Nature can be your sanctuary. Your bedroom can be your sanctuary. Even the bathroom or a closet or wherever else. I mean, you can declare sacred space anywhere you choose. But that feeling of sanctuary, that feeling of comfort and calm and connection, where you can be as completely vulnerable as you get to be, and just really feel that, and give yourself time to process, and give yourself time to feel, and give yourself time to work out whatever you get to work out, so that you are more clear in your life's path, direction, whatever you get to have clarity on. Playing with animals. Animals are beautiful at holding vibrational frequencies, as are crystals. Sanctuary showed up again. Sanctuary is pretty important. Community interaction. So a lot of times we get into this perceived state of isolation. We think in some way, somehow, that we're alone in this journey of life. When we're surrounded, literally surrounded by all this energy, all this community, all of these people that are having similar life experiences. So that illusion of separation it's a beautiful tool, because it allows us to have our own unique path, our own unique experiences. But community, connecting to community, and community can be communing with nature, can be communing with animals, can be communing with just a simple passing glance with somebody on the street and a smile. That can be a community connection. Or you can do videos like this, and connect to your community that way. Conversations, like real conversations, with people on the street, at the grocery store, or wherever. I'm doing public transit right now, and I've had several opportunities to have real conversations with brand new friends that I meet while I'm on the bus or the train or at the stop or whatever. And it takes courage, and it takes internal strength and clarity. And being an empath, I can feel what's going on for these people. So it's also honoring their space, because I'm highly aware, and I'm also highly detached from a lot of the stuff that's going on in my own life. So it's good to have comparison and clarity. I deserves to have some of that amazing water wellness water. Hurrah! Not sponsored by Water Wellness, but they love us. So community interaction, non-judgment, acceptance, friendship, opening up to solutions and action steps. One of the primary tools that I use in my coaching sessions, or when I'm sharing any of my tools, is called the Teachability Index. The Teachability Index is two pretty basic questions. The first one is what's your willingness to change, and the second is what's your willingness to learn. In no particular order. I usually do the willingness to learn first. But off the two questions, you or the people that you're working to connect with can have a general idea of their receptivity to information or solutions, or really where they're at in their own personal process. Showing up and doing your own work, whatever work you're meant to do, whether that's cleaning toilets or baking food, hopefully washing your hands in between, or doing yoga, or teaching a class, or just opening up sanctuary to those that seek it, or doing taxes, or whatever you're meant to be doing. Showing up and doing that work, and doing it from a space of joy and connection and purpose, that this is what you're meant to be doing. If you're really good at math and understanding legalities, then do some taxes, do some science tutoring, do whatever you get to do. Do your work and be there for it. Also, and this is fun because it showed up really big with the marker, so the marker's saying do this as well. Ask and receive. So a lot of times, growing up, religious background or otherwise, there's a lot of focus on not being selfish. Gravity. There's a lot of focus on not being selfish, and we have all sorts of indicators on what being selfish looks like. All sorts of religious and spiritual and cliche teachings and whatever that say don't be selfish, give to others. Well, quite simply, you can't serve from an empty vessel. It just can't be done. There's nothing in it. So if your vessel of self isn't running over with abundance, then you're going to be serving from some form of scarcity. Now, your form of scarcity may be in the millions of dollars, maybe in the availability of your time per week. You may have 100 hours of time available to give to other people. But if you're only giving, then you're going to run out. And that's just how it is. When you allow yourself to fill up with joy or knowing or inner peace or courage, trust, any of these other things, then from that abundance, you're serving yourself first, and then you're serving those around you. More water time. So when you're full, then you have more to give. But you get to take time to fill your own cup. And that is, especially in the world peace community, the light worker community, asking, displaying that vulnerability and saying, hey, I really deserve money. I've got a lot of good vibes. I got a lot of good exchange going on here, but I also really deserve to have money so that the people who still accept money as exchange, like bill collectors and people at the supermarket and various other institutions that still operate on money, I get to have money for those reasons. And so letting people know what your needs are, but also what your desires are, and be open to receive. I have met some very, very beautiful people, just gorgeously amazing, and I'm looking at you amazing, beautiful people. They give and they give and they give, and they have so much yet to give. And for the longest time, for me personally, and I know for a lot of people that I work with, receiving was difficult. Getting into the space where, oh yeah, I can receive that. I can take that in. The gesture is important too. Yes, I can receive that. Yes, I can take that in. I can. Oh yeah. I can receive that, and taking that in versus, oh no, I'm good. I'm good. No. See, I'm really good. Um, Body language is one of the things that I study extensively, and it's a beautiful tool because that it absolutely reflects how the energy processes are going on within the person. Um, so open yourself up to receiving. One of the things I recommend with people to do is create a self-love checklist. And that self-love checklist is simply the things that you do throughout the day to show your self-love. Now you can also put on that checklist, or even another one, the ways in which you receive love from other people. And love is a broad term to reflect kindness and joy and abundance and these other things. But tune into self-love. Tune into that frequency. You know what love feels like. Even if it may feel like it's been a long time, or maybe things like betrayal or other stuff has come up to encourage you to doubt love, either given to yourself or received from others or whatever else. Allow yourself to receive. And if love is too hard right now to receive, it hurts too much, that's a pretty good indicator. But allow yourself to receive other things. Food. People want to pay for food for you or give you food. People want to spend time with you. That's one indicator of them showing and sending you love. People want to text you or show some other kind of compassion towards you. Be open to receiving that. And if you're not, tune into that, because that's giving you an indicator of where you're at. Bill Sturley, beautiful training program, goes over how emotions are simply indicators, and they indicate needs or wants or things that we get to have in our lives. So when you observe those emotions or that energetic feedback, you can really see, okay, this is telling me something. Another term that we use in karmic processing, as well as the Peacemaker method and other tools through SBYC, which is our nonprofit program for schools. We're partnered with the Let's Talk Coalition, so we're set up to go into 300 public schools, as well as the charter schools and what have you. So the E times A equals C is the equation that we teach there, but also the principle of receiving and developing your own tools. Kind of went on a tangent there. I don't know if it really works out, but I love myself enough to display this vulnerability and trust within you. So, I have this YouTube channel, which this will be uploaded to. I've got several Facebook pages. I'm going to be developing a website as well. I get to tell my friends that I am open to receiving assistance with website. And then I'm also, 2015 is going to be huge. World peace status, big time. So I'm working right now with Mike Sheff over in New York, and he's setting up a seminar. So I get to have all my I's crossed and my T's dotted for that. And yes, I put them backwards because I love it. Crossed I's and dotted T's. And also the last one that was on the list there is gratitude. This is a really expansive topic, but part of being in abundance is taking the time to have conversations, to fully give and receive energy, giving first to yourself. Something that's come up quite a lot is self-care is not selfish. And that one resonates pretty deep with people. It resonates pretty deep with me because growing up, there was a lot of emphasis on being selfish. And I got to find out what self-care was and what being selfish was. So that took some discernment. But taking the time to communicate internally and externally, taking the time to allow yourself to feel, that's the first rule of karmic processing, peacemaker method, the rest of those. Giving yourself that permission to feel is crucial. In our tech-driven society, where we're really used to the speed at which things operate. The operating system or the processor or whatever else in your phone or however you're viewing this, is it lagging? Is there stuff going on? Or the process is overloaded? We don't necessarily realize that the signal, for instance, is going to space and bouncing around on satellites, and all the technological components that are operating in harmony to actually deliver this message, and all the other things working in beautiful, harmonic unison, harmonic, either way, this unison of purpose and operation and perfection. That's what it really comes down to. And perfection is kind of a loaded word. There's a lot of energy put into that, which is another part of the reason why the being humans is an important paradigm to put out for people. So, gratitude. I've had several highly spiritual experiences over the last couple of years, and one of them, I study and practice Reiki. I received activation symbols on each of my feet, and they represent joy. On my I got to do the hand thingy to make sure. Left foot is joy, and on my right foot, and these are on the soles of my feet, is gratitude. So, excuse me, if I can fully experience joy, and I could fully experience gratitude, then I feel really stable in my life. My feet are grounded and connected and flowing this energy. So that's kind of my lesson that I've been learning. And I love to hear about the other lessons that people have learned from this information that I've shared. Either I'm doing community Chai Chi on Tuesday nights over at Sacred City at 7, and then on Thursday nights I'm doing the Emotional ThinkTank at Sacred City also at 7 p.m. But I also do one-on-one coaching sessions. I'm writing. Every time I tell somebody about the books I'm writing, the volume increases. But my very first book is only 22 pages. The concepts are pretty expansive, but the reading isn't too difficult. Second book will be 111 pages, and the third book in that series, so the second book is, let's start with the first one, chronologically. First book is Being Humans, an Explorer's Journal. So it's meant to be a writing prompt tool and also deliver some fairly basic energy work concepts. So that's the 22-page one. The 111-page one that I'm going to be writing I'll be writing it through this month and probably have it ready around Thanksgiving. It will be 111 pages. And that one is Being Humans, an Operator's Manual. One of the things I heard a lot growing up was there's no owner's manual for being a parent or living life or whatever. So Spirit said, go ahead and write some. That's not an excuse anymore. And then the third book in that series will be 1,111 pages, or 1111, and that will be Being Humans, a complete field guide. You've probably noticed I've got a unique sense of humor. It's fairly loaded, but I want to encourage people to see themselves from an outside observer standpoint. There tends to be quite a bit more compassion viewing from the outside. For instance, most of your friends probably have a much more compassionate view than you do. They're probably a lot easier on you than you are. But also from kind of like a scientific observer viewpoint. I want people to be able to see some of the complex processes that are going on within them. And these are observations based on my own journey. My own journey has been one of isolation and connection and courage and doubt and all these other dualistic vibrations. But the main lesson in all of it was finding and revisiting my foundation. So I've got quite a few ideas. And then as far as books go, what else? Abundance economies. I'm prompted to write a book on that. I don't know page length just yet. I have written an essay on it. If you want to check out my public figure page on Facebook, it's on there. So I'll be writing a book on abundance economies. And then also my most popular process or activity or connection or whatever you want to call it, which is karmic processing. Karmic processing it's such a beautiful tool. Part of the reason I'm looking beyond you is I've got this beautiful view of the trees and the mountains, and I'm actually going to flip the camera around so you can see it too. So this camera doesn't quite do it justice, but I'm looking out at the mountains and the sky and everything else. So there we are. So I'll be writing a book on karmic processing and kind of what went into the development of that. Yeah, I've kind of gone on for a while, but I wanted to get this energy, this information out. The technology last week was saying no, we're not gonna do any of that. So I'm really sharing gratitude with my electronics right now for being functional and assisting me in connecting with you. Yeah, so feel free to connect with me. Facebook is a really great place to do that. I've got 5 pages, 4 or 5 pages that have my name on them, so I'm pretty easy to find. The main one that I operate most from is the one with words for the profile picture. That's one of the nonprofits that I'm on the board of directors with. Joe's Walk for Change. Joe Bell is a very inspiring soul. He's no longer physically with us, but his message, his and Jaden's message, his son's message, live on through the people that continue to connect and flow that energy out into the world. Yeah, so I trust this has served those that it's meant to serve, and that it will be there for those when they seek it. Namaste, aho, I love you, and thanks for tuning in. Hang on. Okay, the mouse is not working, but ta-da, humor.